much, Senator Durbin. Good morning. Buenos dias. 大家早上好. My name is Rebecca Shi, and I came to America from China when I was 11 years old. My father and I are U.S. citizens. My mother, a doctor in China, was undocumented. She had a final order of deportations for 19 years. Congressman Gutierrez intervened. She stopped my mother's deportation. Today, my mother... Today, my mother has a green card, and she is studying to become a U.S. citizen. My mother will be here standing next to me today, but she's been working since 3 a.m. this morning at a hospital with O'Hare, so thank you, Congressman. In our city of Chicago, we're also very fortunate because the Congressman is working closely with our Mayor, Emanuel, with faith community and businesses and all of the ethnic communities to make sure that Chicago is ready to register thousands of fathers and mothers like mine to qualify for the President's executive order. So thank you, Congressman, and thank you, Mayor. Buenos días, soy Rebecca, soy de China. Llegué a los Estados Unidos cuando tenía 11 años. Mi papá y yo somos ciudadanos, pero mi mamá, ella tenía una orden de deportación por 19 años. Congresista Gutierrez paró la deportación de mi mamá. Ella ahora tiene una mica y está aplicando para la ciudadanía. Y gracias al congresista Gutierrez, tengo mi mamá conmigo. Y también en nuestra ciudad, congresista está trabajando bien duro con nuestro alcalde Emanuel para registrar miles de papás y mamás como mía para beneficiar de la acción de Florida del presidente Obama. Entonces, me ayudan a dar una bienvenida más fuerte a nuestro campeón, al defensor de mamás chinos, polacos, mexicanos, nuestro campeón, Congressman Gutierrez.
Gracias. I want to thank Rebecca for the very warm, very generous introduction. I love your mom. I love all of the millions of undocumented immigrants in the United States that are looking for a better place in America. I love them if they come from Mexico or if they come from China. I love them if they come from Poland or Palestine. I don't care if they're Jewish or Muslim, Hindu, Catholic, or evangelical. I love them all. America needs to be a safe sanctuary for people of different faiths and different ethnicities and different nationalities. I want to say te digo, ¿cómo le diría? Compañera, porque tú eres mi compañera en esta lucha, la pastora Santiago. Ella es nuestra compañera en esta lucha. Gracias, pastora, por ofrecernos este santuario donde nosotros nos podemos convocar para defender y sanar las heridas que siente tanto en nuestra comunidad. I want to say that I can't have a better partner. I'm so happy. You know, he's the senior senator of the state of Illinois. I'm the dean of the Illinois delegation. The reason I'm the dean is because they don't include the senators when they pick the dean. They don't. But I have to tell you something. I couldn't have been blessed to have been born in a better state than Illinois, to have been born in a greater city than Chicago, because it allowed me the opportunity to collaborate and to work with one of the most wonderful members of the U.S. Senate, our Senator Dick Durbin. Thank you so much for being here with us today. And La Pastora Santiago knows that this is incredible for us, because we traveled together with her husband, and we traveled to Houston and Dallas. There were 4,000 people in Dallas. And what was our demand? Stop the deportations. Stop the deportations. Stop the division of our families. And we marched together. And I just want to say how delighted I am to see La Pastora Santiago sitting next to a gentleman, Secretary of Homeland Security, Jay Johnson, who is eliminating fear in our community and replacing it with hope. Thank you, Secretary Jay Johnson, for being with us here this morning. Nosotros no nos vamos a ningún otro lugar que no sean nuestras casas y nuestros hogares. Este es un proceso que va a culminar en tu permanencia aquí en los Estados Unidos de América. Y quiero que ustedes, que han sido tan generosos, you've been so generous with your love and your affection and your applause, but let me just say to you, we need to celebrate the 200 family defenders, los defensores de la familia that are downstairs waiting for you, the lawyers that are downstairs waiting for you, the community that has prepared itself to help you get right with the law. Un aplauso para todos esos defensores de familia. We can't do this ourselves. No lo podemos hacer solos. Nosotros necesitamos muchas personas que nos ayuden. Y esas personas nos van a ayudar hoy. Pero quiero hacer hincapié en par de cosas. Número uno, qué bien que estemos en un santuario de Dios. It is wonderful that we are in God's sanctuary today. I'm going to tell you why. We need to practice loving our neighbor as we love ourselves, not simply on Sunday, not simply when we're worshiping, but every day of our lives. Y si tú amas a tu prójimo como a ti mismo, y tú tienes papeles como los que yo tengo, tú tienes que trabajar para que todos tengan papeles como los que tú tienes. You know, life is wonderful. And let me just share with you, Pastora Santiago and your mom understands, she's here with us too. You know, I'm Puerto Rican. My mom and my dad, they came to the United States in 1952. They came here with nothing. They came here fleeing poverty, fleeing misery. They didn't have a job. There was hunger. So hundreds of thousands of Puerto Ricans left the island of Puerto Rico during the 1950s. Hundreds of thousands. And don't think there was a welcome mat and newspaper editorial saying, what a great idea that they've shown up in the city of Chicago. That wasn't the reception that they received. They confronted bigotry, they confronted discrimination, they confronted hatred. And maybe there wasn't anyone to raise their voice in defense of my mom or my dad, but they raised me to defend those that are being victims of discrimination. Y quizás no había alguien que levantara su voz defendiendo a mi mamá y mi papá, pero yo estoy aquí, hijo de ellos, para levantar mi voz en defensa de ustedes y todos los demás inmigrantes de este país. So I want to share these things with you this morning as you get ready. We have Director Rodriguez. Thank you, Director Rodriguez. You have a huge job in front of you. Just go to the We've got to sign up millions and millions and millions of people, and we do it one person at a time. And we do it the correct way, each and every time. Now, I'm going to share with you that, when Abraham Lincoln issued that executive order of the Emancipation Proclamation, he didn't ask Congress if it was the right thing to do. When President Truman issued an executive order saying, I am going to desegregate the armed forces of the United States in 1948, he didn't go to the Senate, he didn't go to the House. He did the right thing. And in each case, the people caught up with what the Congress caught up with what the president did. We passed an amendment to the Constitution of the United States after the Civil War, guaranteeing that all the former slaves would be guaranteed their place in our society. And after 1948, after we desegregated the armed forces, we passed, 15 years later, a civil rights, a voting rights, and housing rights legislation. The Congress finally caught up. And let me guarantee you something. Déjame garantizarle a ustedes algo. Esta acción del presidente Barack Obama es una acción heroica del presidente de los Estados Unidos que muy pronto the action of the President of the United States that he takes today to set aside millions of immigrants from fear of deportation and saying that their families are important to America and that he's going to protect them, and to give that important job to Secretary Jay Johnson, that what he has done today will soon, as in other actions in the past, the Congress of the United States will one day catch up. Y los papeles que te damos a ustedes hoy, un día serán los papeles necesarios. Pero yo estuve aquí en esta iglesia y había un señor que me dijo, eso es bueno de ser ciudadano, a mí me gustaría hacerlo, eso es bueno de poder votar, me encantaría en algún momento poder hacer eso también, Luis, pero en este momento, yo lo que necesito no es ser ciudadano, yo lo que necesito no es votar, yo necesito criar mis hijos, proteger mi familia, consiga mis papeles, y eso es lo que el presidente de los Estados Unidos ha hecho, conseguir sus papeles. Así que seamos claros, no descansaremos. This is not the reform that we have been fighting for, but it is a significant step that will protect millions of American families. Y ahora quiero decirle a ustedes algo. In the city of Chicago, I am so happy the state of Illinois has Senator Dick Durbin. You know, I am as happy and delighted that we have a wonderful mayor of the city of Chicago. Let me explain something to you. I go around the country and you know what the dreamers tell me? How do I go to college? In the city of Chicago, starting this fall, if you're a dreamer and you have passed through DACA, you can go and get your first 2 years at any city college without worrying about how you're going to pay for it. I was in South Carolina. Kids are getting their DACA application, and the state of South Carolina is refusing to let them be nurses. Refusing to let them attend college. Refusing. We're going to fight those fights. But in the city of Chicago, if you're a dreamer, you can apply for an internship in the city of Chicago and work. In this city of Chicago, we respect that permit that you have received. And let me end with this. You know, Senator Durbin and I, we worked so hard and toiled so hard together. We did. We love working together. We love just sitting down, just the two of us working together. And there's another person that I love working with. Since he has become mayor of the city of Chicago, he has made the city a friendly city. He said no to deportations in the city of Chicago and collaborating in the deportation and the division of our families. He said, come on down and get jobs. He said, come on down and make sure that you can participate, especially our young people. He's worked with me on citizenship. But here's something I cannot tell you. The number of times that I called him up and said, I need your help, I need your guidance, I need your support. He was there every step of the way. Much of this decision in terms of my work was done with his help. Y quiero decirle últimamente, ¿sabes? Hay veces que uno necesita un amigo. And it wasn't the times that I called him. It was the times that he simply called me and said, Luis, what do you need? I want to get this done with you. And so please receive warmly the Mayor of the City of Chicago, Mayor Emanuel.
Thank you, Luis. Let's give also a thanks to the Santiagos. Because they know that what happens in this church on Sundays is only as strong as what happens when we open the doors to take it out to the streets of the city of Chicago and to the surrounding community. And this is honoring the spirit of what happens here. Thank you very much to you and Freddie. Let me also say one other point to what Luis talked about. When we were growing up, on our family room wall were the black and white pictures of my mother and father's family. Those were the photos of the family members who never made it to America, on both sides. And in the middle was the purse and the papers of my grandmother and my two great aunts when they came to the United States. There's nothing subtle in a Jewish home. It was my mother and father's way of reminding the three boys that you have a responsibility to do something and make big, because there's others who never made it here. And on this week, the week of the Holocaust and the liberation of Auschwitz, it's a reminder that if you've made your family has made the sacrifices and struggle to make sure that part of the American dream is alive, just like my Manta family, to make sure that they get on to an education. And what Luis was talking about here in the city of Chicago, like anywhere else in the United States, you earn a B average in high school, community college will be free. It's the only city in America. Open to all students. You're from the city of Chicago, you go to high school, you earn a B average. We don't ask your status because you're here to make the American dream a reality and honor the sacrifice and struggle of your parents. College will be there for you. Undocumented children, they have the chance to go to college because that's the American dream. So as the President of the United States, and I do want to say, this is a telling sign. Mr. Rodriguez, his family's from Cuba. Senator Durbin's family, Lithuania. Luis's family in Puerto Rico. My family, both Israel and Moldova. Puerto Rico as well. This is why we are so strong as a city and why we're the friendliest city to immigrants. Because people from all parts of the world come here to give their children a chance to the American dream. And as Lynette was talking earlier, 45% of all small businesses in the city of Chicago started by immigrants. You can't be pro-small business and anti-immigrant. The two don't go together. Same thing about home ownership that she was talking about and the statistics. This is the opportunity. The President of the United States has created a pathway. What is happening here today is to ensure that people walk that path to the American dream. That their children walk that path to graduation day to college. That opportunity to make sure, because when Senator Durbin goes back Tuesday, he carries the stories and the dreams and the hopes and the aspirations of this room. And we want the United States Senate, all of them, to know that here in Chicago, the American dream is alive and well. People want their children to be and experience the hope and the promise that President Obama gave them. And let us make sure that our voices are always heard. And because of Luis Gutierrez's leadership, America is living up to his promise. I also want to close by thanking the Secretary for being here. Luis and I met with him many times. We always said go big, many times. In fact, he switched his cell number on both of us halfway through the process. But we still have it, we've tracked it down, and we now have his email address. But I wanted, because the Secretary was in New York, this event, he said, I went to something in New York I want to see. I hope you see that Chicago's never going to play second city to New York City when it makes sure the American dream is alive and well. I want to thank the Secretary for being here, and thank the Secretary, and I want you to know we stand shoulder to shoulder with you to make sure that the American dream, right here in Chicago. So whether you're from Mexico or Moldova, Poland or Peru, Ireland, or India, Chicago has one simple message: welcome home.